Hello friends, welcome to NJCF. We are learning social science of 10th standard and we have started with the 4th chapter, that is Literary Heritage of India. In the previous video we talked about Vedas. Now in this video we are going to talk about Brahmanical literature. Many Brahmanical epics were composed to understand the meaning of Vedic literature. It is also known as Brahmana, which explains Vedic literature through commentaries or critical appreciation composed as poetry. To understand Vedas, many literature has been written. Brahmanical literature is one of them. Any critical appreciation based on Vedas composed in the poetic form are included in Brahmanical literature, as I have just said. Vedic literature and directive principles regarding behavior have been explained broadly. This literature is divided into two parts, Aranyakas and Vedangas. Brahmanical literature includes Vedas, Upanishad, Aranyakas, Smritis, and the epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata. And they are mainly written in prose. They are ritualistic in nature. The oldest Brahmana is dated to about 900 BC. So first of all, we will talk about Aranyakas. Aryans used to spend their last phase of life in Aranyakas. Aranyakas means forest. So Aryans used to spend their last phase of life in forest, making their ashrams in forest. They composed literature based on philosophy, which was the result of their deep thinking, and it is known as Aranyakas. Aranyakas is one type of Brahmanical literature. They typically represent the latter sections of the Vedas, and the other parts of Vedas are the hymns, commentary, and Upanishad. Aranyaka literally means produced, born, or related to forest. They are sometimes also identified as Karma Kand, while Upanishads are identified as Gnan Kand. We are not going into the depth of Aranyakas and Upanishad, but Aranyakas is the result of deep thinking of Aranya, and it is mainly based on the philosophy. Moving ahead, Vedangas, it deals with the religious practices and rituals, grammar, astrology, and astronomy. There are 6 disciplines of Hinduism according to Vedangas, and they have been connected with the study of Vedas. Moving ahead, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata are 2 great Indian epics, and we know about that. You must have seen Ramayana and Mahabharata on television. You know their story. The present form of these epics can be traced back to the 2nd century. The Ramayana has the story of Ramchandra, the king of Ayodhya. The Ramayana is the smaller epic than the Mahabharata. Mahabharata is the world's largest epic, which has 1 lakh verses. Now you can imagine about its greatness. Mahabharata narrates many attractive stories of adventure, and this describes the war between Kauravas and Pandavas. Besides, it also consists of numerous stories. The Bhagavad Gita, a part of Mahabharata, expounds the deep philosophical principles. It conveys the message of achieving moksha through jnana, karma and bhakti. Based on astronomical information, Ramayana took place 7,000 years ago and Mahabharata took place 5,000 years ago. And we know about Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita includes all answers of our questions. In that, Krishna teaches that one can kill only the body. The soul is immortal. At that, the soul is reborn in another body, and for those who have fully grasped the true teachings, it achieves moksha, that is, freedom from the wheel of rebirth. So, during the war between Kauravas and Pandavas, Lord Krishna taught Arjun lessons of life, which is written in the Bhagavad Gita. Both the epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, have been influencing millions of Indians and the literature for a long time. They have implanted motivational seeds of sanskar in the Indians. So, you must have the knowledge of Ramayana as well as Mahabharata. During this period of Sanskrit literature was produced, which contained a good combination of religious and worldly aspects of life. The Puranas played an important role in explaining initial Vedic religion of earlier time. During this period, many scriptures and Smruti Granths were composed. These scriptures dealt with science and philosophy. For example, Kautilya's Arthashastra is a book of management as well as book on various topics such as art, mathematics and other sciences. The Smruti Granth as explains the religion's teachings, laws and customs. So during the time of Mahabharata and Ramayana, Sanskrit literature was produced and it was flourished. Many scriptures and Smruti Granths were composed and they were based on science and philosophy, religious teachings, art, mathematics, customs, etc. Kautilya was also known as Chanakya. He was a teacher, author, strategist, philosopher, economist, and Kautilya's Arthashastra gave in-depth examinations on matters such as history, economics, politics, management. It has been often cited as an important source for understanding Mauryan times. Because Kautilya is widely credited for having played an important role in the establishment of the Maurya Empire, and his tricks were also known as Chanakya Niti. Now you can understand how literature of India is very rich and vast. In the next video, we will talk about some another ancient literature as well as medieval literature.